Okay, guys, let's go for a morning session. Um, Yesterday we did include new methods, and today we're gonna be doing the same thing. So I guess I don't know how far we don't have much of the public methods remaining. So here I am just trying to figure out what we're gonna do, and yeah, that's that. So last video was even less viewed by people, which is fine. I don't make these so people can view them. I make these because if I didn't make these, I would probably be doing something else. So I started so many projects, didn't finish a single one, and this is sort of what's keeping me, focused. So let's see what Klein is suggesting we do. Clarify. We don't need to do that. Yeah, we don't need to do that. Solidify Python import knowledge. Relative. We don't need to do that as well. Testing environment mastery. Just need to work. Okay. Yeah, let me just return it. Let's say this plan sucks. Let's focus on writing more code and writing better code. How do we help the student progress from here and do better while asking him to do things? It's like in the prompt, it's just that it uses the Socratic method to teach, but it still hasn't done that once. So I'm going to try prompting it to use the Socratic method as demanded by the system prompt. Or unit testing. I mean, tests are not that important at this point. And let's focus on implementing the rest of the data plates before we push and improve. Well, okay, and then yes, please use the Socratic method to teach instead of providing everything all at once. Let's see how that works out. You're right. Let's use the Socratic method to guide the student through implementing more market data endpoints. Looking at what we have, currently implemented server time, asset pairs, ticker info, OH/LC data, and order book. We should explore what other market data endpoints are available and help the student discover and implement them through guided questions. So looking at the Kraken API, we've implemented several market data endpoints. What other types of market data do you think would be useful for a trading bot? Think about what information you'd need to make trading decisions. And that's great. So let's have a look what we have available. Like when we go for asset info, what do we get here? Well, we do need to provide an asset if option default currency example. So it just returned for everything, and it's giving us the decimals, collateral value. Interesting. Why does a spot or REST API have collateral value? Okay, so I think we can just implement all of these. Account data we don't need. Yeah, we don't need that. Not for now. Like we just want to get the data and process it and come up with a decision. And then once we are able to do that, we can consider implementing trading functions as well. And then the API secrets and keys and stuff like that. So none of these are relevant. We only have these. So we have, so these are the things. These are the market data endpoints available for the spot API on Kraken. So I would implement all of these, right? System status ascertain for recent trades and recent spreads. I'm looking at the remaining endpoints. Which one seems most similar? What? Yes. I don't think it matters. And let's just implement solutions so that we get the data and then we can start to process, to store and process it. Anyway, so we have the get server time. Let's go now. Let's get system status. Self, and let's see what system status requires. So it's just system status. That's it. Okay. This. We have nothing here. And then it would be this and endpoint equals this. And then try, we have this same. Yeah, this remains the same. Okay, we're getting system status. Yeah, that should work. Let's, this is the, what it is. No, I'm sorry. No, I'm sorry. No changes to code mode. Maybe I can, wait. I know what it is supposed to do. So we have the ability to create new modes. So let's create a new mode, teaching mode. And yeah, teaching mode. Global, available. And we can say, let me just use Claude. Let's create question. Let me see first. Yeah, we're gonna create first. Gonna create the mode. But I wanna see here, are there any tools and stuff? No. Okay. Uh-huh. Okay. So these are tools. Okay, let's teaching mode. Let's use this. So let's create a teaching modes prompt for VS Code extension that will focus on guiding the user through the use of the Socratic method. It will always reveal only the next logical part of the solution. When only when the user requests. Otherwise, it will only guide the user with questions. Let's see if we can improve it. So here's an example. Here's an example of the architect mode. You can use it as a baseline. So this would be role definition. And we would have mode specific. All right. So let's create a better tool, right? I think that's what, I mean, we have the tool, but we're just creating a better prompt. Oh, but it needs to be for coding. Like, I don't want to talk with Socrates. It must be for coding. The Socratic method is only used as a tool, And I mean, I have to try it. So I'm gonna just create a new, gonna create a new mode, Socrates. Yes. So let's maybe, I don't know, you're Socrates. Yeah, let's see what it does. Yeah, let's create Socrates. But the goal is to teach coding only, not general things. Code Sage. We're gonna change that. You are client. Yeah, think. Wait, I wanna invite it to think harder. Think harder to complete this task. Think harder. I think it's reacting to that. I mean, that's what the lady from Claude said. Yeah, you're Socrates. Okay, so let's go back here. Make a task. Name it blind. Instead of root, and complete with the other assignment. Keep any mention of tools. Yeah. Keep any mention. Sure, that's fine. Your client, okay, experienced coding mentor who specializes. Okay. 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 Yes. Yes, this looks good. This looks good to me. So let's update the teaching mode. And your client. There we go. Review. This is huge. This is what we're sending every time. We're sending this. It's crazy, huh? How much of the context do you think this is taking up? Yeah, so we need to zero shot here as well. The problem is with teaching. Is we are teaching. with teaching is that it requires a lot more context. You cannot just like zero shot. Solutions can be zero shot, but I think teaching requires a bit more nuance. So you're right. Let's focus on teaching through the Socratic method. Looking at our client PI implementation so far, we can help the student discover patterns and build understanding through implementing new endpoints. I noticed that we have several public endpoints implemented that show a consistent pattern. Let's help the student recognize and apply these patterns themselves. I see you've successfully implemented several endpoints like get server time and get ticker info. Looking at these methods, what common patterns do you notice in how they're structured? Yeah. Okay. So we have the main definition of the method. Self is always present. They all have an endpoint constructor and use variables from def init. Yes, and use variables from def init. They use response get requests with the same syntax. Let's see where it's. I don't know where it's taking me right now. So this is the first time Socrates has joined us. Okay, good observation. The student has identified key patterns, method definition with subparameters, endpoint construction using init variables, consistent requests without get syntax. Let's help them identify error handling pattern as well. Okay. And then guide them to implement the new endpoint. I still haven't saved the one I've implemented. You've spotted some great patterns. I also noticed each method handles errors in a similar way. Can you look at any of the methods and explain how they handle? What Python construct do they use for this? So they use the requests exception to print out more information about the error. In this particular case, because we are dealing with an API and the API has response codes, which give good information back to the user. That's what I think, right? We raise for status. We see what's the status. Great. The student understands we're using try except to handle request exceptions and provide meaningful error messages. They also understand we're dealing with the API responses. Now let's guide them to implement a new endpoint. Okay. I have it already. I'm going to save it now. Could you try implementing? Okay, I tried. And we'll have a look. Look, did I do the job? I like this better already. So because it's not trying to code everything, it's like really trying to learn. It is for sure better for learning. Because even in many cases, like it gave me the solution. Let's verify their implementation works. Great job. We can check the API. We can check the API. If I can find, I think the videos would be infinitely more entertaining if I can find a way to get it to speak this. I need to see. Maybe somebody can help me with that. We'll write to Reddit and ask. We can check the API. for which parameters are required. And it doesn't matter which one is next, since we will implement all of them. And let's go with asset info. However, you do mention that you want to verify if the implementation works. How would we do that? Yeah, let's see what it says. Let's see how it guides me. Looking at our project, we have two ways we've been testing: formal unit tests and quick test scripts. Let's help them understand both approaches and decide which is better. Yeah, I wanna do quick test scripts at this stage. So, yeah, once we have all of them, we can write the unit tests, because later on we will likely need to adjust something. I don't know. But if we do adjust, we'll be able to always go back to the tests and see if they work properly. Okay, so the test sample is simpler and faster for quick verification. If we look at test sample, we can see how the pattern is using. Yeah, so I already think I can just replicate this because it is just a pattern. So we can try. Well, this is system status equals client, not so get system status, and if we don't pass anything. Now this would be a first. We just open and close. It's not a first. Open and close parenthesis, print server status new, and there is no other data except exception as key. Print. I just copy this. There we're getting server status. And we do need print space. Oops. Is that shift enter? I don't know. Let's create some room when we run it. Okay, and we do have the commands now. Okay. I'm glad I made that file, because we don't need to save that. This we can save here now. So I'm glad I did this. This is a Python. So we need to first enable the event. Then we can do this, and we get the responses. But yeah, I don't know. This doesn't look like the correct response. Def data we did get. I haven't saved it. That's right. That's right. So let's run it again. Server status empty. That's not bad. That's bad. What does it return? I think this maybe just returns the status code. Oh no. So it returns status and timestamp. But we're not getting status and timestamp. And the reason for that is what? What's the reason? Because I'm not printing. That's the reason why. There we go. So status align and a timestamp. Nice. Easy. Okay, I implemented. Tested. Can you check? With me. Okay, let's me see. So perfect. They've added the get system status test, following the same pattern as the other tests, using try except block, calling the method and storing result, printing the result, and proper error handling. Now that we verified that the implementation works, let's move on to the asset info endpoint. Yes, so it's saying we should check the API documentation first. What do you think would be a good method name for this endpoint? So I mean, we can just do def gets asset info. I think that's pretty good. Self is here for sure. Think about how we might want to get info about specific assets versus all assets. Yeah. So let's have a look here. This is public assets. So let's construct the endpoint first. We're gonna have, this is gonna be the description here. Endpoint equals F. And then we might have here, what do we have as variables, optional parameters? One. We have asset equals asset. And we have class, a class. A class. A. Okay, so this will be the endpoint. They grab the description, get information about the assets that are available for deposit, withdrawal, and earn, trading and earn. Okay. And are any of these mandatory? Asset is not an A class, but asset class, currency. But what other things we can provide? Asset class token. Let's see. Token currency stable coin. So currency is by default, but they haven't provided any other options. Currency. And sending it blank also goes to currency. It's weird. Why do you need this, right? What if we say security? Utility. I don't know. Yeah. All. Let's see. All. Yeah, all works. Interesting. So let's see. Are there any? I just process this. We'll see. What? Are there any assets which are not currency? No. I'm getting better at this. Yeah. All of the assets are listed as currency. Okay, interesting. So all of the assets are here as currency, despite them having a class. So let's go back to the code. And here, what we're going to say is we have, we have the asset, and then we have a class, which can be none. Yep, and this also can be not. I think that's what I'm doing when I'm saying equals none. I think I'm saying, oh, this, if it's empty, it's okay. I need to ask the question here as well. Can count? Do I need to specify if counts, if not count integer? Like, I don't know. We'll improve for sure. Okay. Get asset info. So where do we go from here? We get a list. Okay. I mean, yeah, our parameters, params equals, this would be asset, and a class, not. I'm guessing, yeah, this should be correct. And we try, and this can be copied over. It's literally always the same. We'll just fix it up a bit. And we say error getting asset in. Okay. Oh yeah, that should be good. So it's asking me, okay, so I reviewed the API and implemented the method. And regarding your questions, we have named the method get asset info with parameters self asset and a class as per the documentation. So, right. I'm using, I keep forgetting. I should use this more. And we've implemented it in a way so that whoever is calling can provide whatever parameters they need to either get a list of all of the assets or a specific asset and its associated information with this call. Unfortunately, I cannot use it like here. That would be ideal, but I think it's only for Copilot. Right? This, I think it adds this. That might be the best way to use it, actually. And I don't know. Does Copilot have new edit session? Chat. Yeah, but Copilot only has one mode. That's a problem with it. Huh? It's not like Vue code where you can program it in a way. So it's saying there is an issue. Look at line 43 versus line 112. So line 43. So what's the difference? assets. Okay. Aha. Equals. We're missing an equal sign here. Thank you. Yes, there is a missing equal sign. Okay, I didn't even notice. It already told me. Yeah, I noticed. I noticed the missing equal sign and I have added it. And let's proceed with implementing the next method. And we can implement I don't know which one is missing. Okay, so it's saying now that we should verify get asset info works with the test script, just like we did with get system status. And looking at the remaining inputs, recent trades and recent spreads, both of this will likely need pair parameters as they're related to specific trading pairs. Okay, let's work on that. A simple calls. I'm gonna go and say try. I'm just gonna copy over this thing. Just copy paste. And instead of system status, it's gonna be asset info. And it's gonna be get asset info. Okay. This. Okay. So now if we run it, yeah, we get error result online. Oh, but we get system status because what? We're printing system status. I didn't even know this could work, but it does. And I'm assuming, so let me just test my assumptions here. I'm assuming if this is after this, like this will fail. It will return an error. Yes. Yes. Because the system status is not defined. Interesting. Okay. eQuery unknown asset class. What? Asset info eQuery unknown asset class. Asset any, a class any. So eQuery. What is eQuery? I'm getting an error. What is eQuery? It's a good learning opportunity. The error eQuery unknown asset class is coming from the Kraken API. Looking at our implementation, we might be sending the A class parameter incorrectly. If A class should be sent when it's none, let's check two things. If A class should be sent when it's none, the endpoint URL with the parameters. eQuery means it's a query error from the API. Looking at the asset, get asset info, we're always including both parameters in the URL and parameters, even when they are none. I see what happens. So it could be that this should not be included if it's not provided. Let's try again. That makes sense. Error in getting asset info, missing two required positional arguments. Wow. Okay. What if we send them asset empty equals, oh no, a class equals none, asset equals not. Unknown asset class. So, I mean, I did test here empty, right? No, this is wrong. Asset info. Let's go to asset info and we'll check. Okay. Empty, right? It's returning a lot. Optional default currency. Optional default all available assets. Okay, so all the API page responses have defaults. Do I need to specify defaults if no option is provided? Yeah, I mean, yeah, but this it's saying, yeah, but when I'm done, interesting. So the API on the page has defaults, but when I'm trying to send without parameters, I'm still getting an error. And let's just collect what the error is. Missing parameters, missing two positional, required positional. Yeah. Oh, that's coming from the API, not Python. Aha. Right. Get asset pairs. No, this is for get asset input. Asset info, get asset info. And that's get asset pairs. First change to, so it was correct. None. None. Okay. And then we need to define parameters. Start with an empty parameters dictionary and only add parameters if they have values. I see. So it will be params and if asset params asset equals asset if a class params a class equals a class. Okay. I guess so. Let's see. Let's see if this changes anything. It gave me the solution though, but it's saying unknown asset class. So this doesn't fix it. This doesn't fix the issue, and we're still getting the unknown asset class error. Um, yeah, so how do we get to the bottom of this? What do we document like what the defaults are and pass them if the user didn't provide the correct parameters or parameters in the call? Like if they just try to run the call, we should just send it with the defaults that we know the API page is sending. Or I do think the issue is with the API page. I don't think it's on our side. Maybe it was before when we were sending none, but the only reason why it changed it was because we were getting the unknown asset class error. Asset. Okay, I think it will understand that it's an asset, not asset. Great analytical thinking. Thank you. Yeah, I could probably. Yeah, we can try that. So with asset equals XBT. XBT is not defined. What about BTC? BTC is not defined. What about 1 inch? Now this is weird. As if we go here and we say BTC should work, right? Yeah, they're getting XBT. Invalid decimal literal. What? Line 53. Invalid decimal literal. Huh? What happened? Oh, wait. Should I send it like this? Unknown asset class. XBT. Am I doing it wrong? We're still getting errors here. Here. I need to write this. I've tried XBT, 1 inch, ETH, ETC, none of them work. Print. So let's see if there's an issue there. API public is always 0. Yeah. Um, yeah, I'm sharing the documentation. That's bad. Let's see. Let's get back to it. I mean, eventually this is going to become easy. It's not that difficult right now, not with the help of AI. You can figure it out. I could, I feel like I can figure it out. So would you add a print statement before the request to see what URL we're trying to? It's redundant. Maybe we are not creating it correctly with the params endpoint asset. Is that correct? That is correct. Asset plus asset. Okay. And then it's assets. Yeah. There's this payloads and headers as well. That's also unknown to me. Yeah, probably can help you find it. So sections, API, docs, REST API. Oh, what? We don't have it all. Get order bulk. Oh, that's so weird. Why? Our scrape was bad. Yeah. Sports. Wait 10 minutes. Yeah, I need to find a good scraping solution. I mean, that's disappointing. I mean, what's more disappointing is I didn't check. Okay, let's debug this. Request get call in the get asset info. Right before. Let's try that again. We're sending none. So I think we shouldn't be sending none. I'm interested in how did it construct the debug full URL. Yeah, of course. On line 112, yes. Instead of constructing the URL with the parameters directly, we should just use the base endpoint and let the params handle the parameters like we do in get asset pairs. So get asset pairs, but we not doing anything different. But yeah, it's a bit weird. Let me use this. It's a bit weird that you're suggesting I use the get asset pairs as an example, because it's doing the exact same thing we are doing in the current class, in the current method. So I'm a bit confused. Oh, well, this is sending an idiot. I didn't know that. I mean, we can try. I'm not against trying and see, okay, if I remove this, what are you gonna do? So it works. Interesting. Notice the missing equals. I see. So, well, I mean, get asset info has equals. Equals an A class equals A class. And we have equals in both places. Looking at an older version. I see the issue now. Yeah, I always love when I see this. The problem is we're double handling. We're putting them in the endpoint and then we're passing them separately in the params dictionary. That means the parameters are being added twice, causing issues. Let's help them understand this by looking at similar methods. Okay. Looking at the get ticker info and get asset pairs, I notice they handle parameters slightly differently. For example, get ticker info uses public ticker question mark pair equals pair. But ideally, we should choose one way, either include parameters in the endpoint URL or use the params dictionary. Since we're using params, we could simplify the endpoint. Could you try modifying get asset info to just use public assets? But the thing is, you say this, but the thing is, I don't think they are added twice. Are they? How can we check? I think we should just not send a class if there is no a class provided, instead of sending none, right? And I think this is params. So I think I'm complicating. I could just remove this and let params handle it, I guess, apparently. I don't know. Let's help them understand what's happening with the URL construction by looking at our debug output. We can modify the debug print to show us exactly the URL that requests get. So we can see exactly how requests get built the final URL by using request to construct the URL. Can you modify the debug print to this? Yes. I mean, yes. Okay. So we have the debugs here. Print. There. Right? Oh, I didn't save. Let's try again. So, yeah, it's correct. It is absolutely correct. I see. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Yeah, we're constructing it well. We're getting well. Yeah, it looks good. Okay, so let's fix up these as well then. So params, okay, teach me how it works then, because this method is better. I'll implement it for all of them, because if it's gonna construct it for me, why not? Not use it. So it would be, okay, so first let's remove the debugging stuff. I don't need that anymore. Thank you. Good opportunity to explain your construction. Let's understand how the request library handles URLs and parameters. When you make a request, you can build a URL in two ways. Way one, put the parameters directly in the URL. Let requests handle parameters. So get URL params. Okay. Which way do you think is better and why? So let's communicate. I think the params way is better because it's way more flexible and we just predefine the parameters. And if they are not provided, they are not included. Well, if we're using the first method, we would have to create new URLs and duplicate the API.endpoint over and over and over again in order to generate whatever the user wanted, then we would have to create every single possible call that can be made in order to be effective. But with params, with the second method, this is handled for us, and they are created if they exist. And if they don't exist, they're not included, and it's much, much simpler. Is that correct? Is my understanding correct? Yeah, I like this. I like this. I think it's better because it's asking me. I mean, of course, if you take it seriously as well, it's asking me questions. The thing is with the English and the way I'm URLs, though the way I'm trying to write here to avoid typing so much is not so perfect, but it's good. It's good enough, I think. Okay, so excellent understanding. They've grasped the key benefits of using the params approach. Let's reinforce this by helping them update the get asset info. So it's updated already. The get asset info method is already updated. And now we are going to update the rest of the methods as well. Okay, so let me. So the thing is, I want to understand the syntax. I want to understand the params syntax a bit better. If, especially with the ifs. So if, I see. So, okay, we're creating an empty dictionary. And then if we have an asset, it will get added here. And if we have a class, it will get added here. But how does it get added? I don't know. So let's start with an empty dictionary. Only add parameter if it has a value, which is not none. Okay, same for a class. Okay. 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 I mean, I get it. Okay. Okay. So we need to create self. There's no need pair. So here we've already done it. Info is by default, but also none should be, yeah, it's optional. So none is also fine. There, none. Get particular information. And there must be a pair, I think, here. So if not pair, prints must provide a type pair. Change the pair. Raise value pair. So I know we used it once. Raise value pair, right? So the endpoint here would be empty. It would have params as an empty dictionary. And if pair, then params here equals there. I really hate this syntax. If interval params interval equals data. And if since since equals since. Okay. And then we delete this. We have a params, not different params. Okay. Yeah. And here we want to also params us. If there like here we need this and just if counts on the equals count. And this we can do. Oh. So is everything now proper? So let's see. With self, I don't think we need to do anything. There is no dictionary. Use, we're not passing any information. We're just calling. Hello, it's me. Here, we're also calling only one, but I think we should do isn't ticker info. So I think this would be ticker information. I think you must provide. Like if you don't provide, what happens if you don't provide? Like it's gonna give you all of the ticketing. Yes, yes, that's so much. Oh, that's a huge data dump. Okay, so we don't have to provide, but let's do the NT dictionary method. So I like it. If pair, then params pair equals pair. I think it's better because it's constructing the URLs better, and then we need to remove this. Easy. Okay. And here, endpoint, which I'll see. Yep. And endpoint here, depth. We can remove that. Endpoints, it's all good. Okay, let's test it. There should have no errors. It looks good. That's a lot of. Is this everything all the time? No. Yeah, it's like way too much. Okay, so this is depth. It's good. Oh, come on. Let's go. OHLC data ticker info as per server time. Where's server status? Is it server status? Server time? Oh, I'm calling here on the API. Yeah, it should be server status. There it is. Okay. Okay. Okay, I improved all methods to use the empty dictionary way as it's been. Can you check and see if I did it correctly? My teacher, leave them kids alone. All in all, just another AI on the wall. Okay, I think we'll wrap up here, and then tomorrow we should implement our last method. And with that, I think we got everything. I could probably push to do it today, but I have to go work. The pesky thing. Work. Work. Okay. So interesting patterns. Some methods have validation, like if not pair before for building params. Some methods build params even after validation, like get ticker info if not pair and if pair check. Uh-huh. Well, sometimes. So sometimes uh, pairs pairs are required. And yes, it's redundant. But the reason to include the params is because we need, but you're not params because we already know. Yeah, because we already know. So params, if pair, else, if else. So you can do if else. There let's do that. I like that. That's more elegant. So this is the trading pair. Yeah. So we can say if pair, else raise value. There. Okay. Yeah, that's way more elegant. Okay. If not. Okay. If, yeah, we can replicate this. Super easy. Else raise value pair. And then here also intervale. Else base value pair. There we go. Easy. Yeah. I was thinking about the tests. Yeah. So tomorrow we could probably do the last method and the tests as well. Yeah, that's it for today. Thank you so much. I appreciate you for watching. Any number of minutes, even if you just skip to the end. Thanks. The reason why I'm documenting this is because it gives me a frame of reference or continuing to work on the same project, even though I mess up things like forget to switch back to the actual code that I'm working on. So I'm gonna be doing a lot of mistakes. I don't plan on editing this. It's just gonna be a playlist of me learning to code with all of the mistakes, everything I fuck up along the way. That's fine. It is what it is. Life is not perfect. Neither am I. No, nor am I trying to be. I'm just trying to be good enough at programming and not suck as much. That's the goal. Because vibe coding can only take you so far. Why? That's what I'm doing. All right. Bye bye, guys. Thanks so much.